Welcome back, Plugs and Thugs, episode 82.
Let's get it!
Let's get it.
We're approaching the century mark. We'll hit
We
that
are.
pretty quick.
Quick, very fast. Very fast. I forgot
All
English
right,
for a minute.
so before we do an intro, we'll go back to the original. Me, Scott, Alex, Zach.
Yes.
All right. As always, you got Daniel.
Scott.
That lasted all 2
Announced
seconds.
it.
Yeah, perfect.
This is Alex.
Hi, I'm Zach.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, welcome.
Way to go.
everybody.
Shout out to
You know how it
Scott
is.
who made it 5 seconds into the show before ruining it.
And he didn't even.
That's what I'm
drink
here
it.
for.
Got one. Yeah, we're here. We are a day away from NHL hockey,
Mhm.
and we're here for our bold predictions, our breakouts. It's going to be a fun episode. I know. Just before we really get into it, Zach's got to dip out a little bit earlier than normal.
No.
On kid duty, is going to pull an Alex from last week. He's going to give us his all of his stuff in kind of one shot, and then go take care of the daughter.
Yep, that I'm gonna do.
Nice.
But let's do the intro. Give us the follows, all the social medias. We got the YouTube.
Oh.
Subscribe.
Mhm.
We got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're hoping to really kick off some marketing, I mean, just trying to get a bigger following. I know Alex and I kind of talked about some growing the listenership, and I know all four of us will be growing that in the next couple of weeks, next month. We're hoping to see more than our normal viewers asking questions. But yeah, I mean, aside from, like I said, I already gave kind of the kickoff of what we're going to cover. We got some notes that we'll cover after we do breakouts and bold predictions. Like I said, because Zach's got to go a little bit earlier. But it's going to be fun. NHL starting up tomorrow, and we're all excited. 116 straight days of hockey starting.
Yeah.
As long as COVID doesn't rear its ugly head, we should
Which-
get 100.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
we want to hold on before. I didn't even ask Zach. Is that something that you're able to stick around for before we?
You want to talk about that first little effect of COVID on the season, and then
Yeah.
I can do that and then get my predictions.
Okay, cool. All right, so we have a topic that we kind of wanted to hit on because obviously within the last week we've had some COVID stuff come out with NHL, which is kind of surprised because obviously with the bubble and everybody testing negative for multiple months in a row, it's kind of been impacted. But I kind of wanted to just discuss that whole topic as a whole, how COVID's going to affect the season. Obviously, we had a COVID outbreak with Dallas. Originally, we had 6 players and 2 coaches test positive. Today, it's now up to 17 just with Dallas.
God damn.
27
Oh my God.
total players confirmed across 9 different teams. So
None on the Kings, right?
No,
I don't
none.
think so. I mean,
No.
the thing is, so
Playoff bound.
Before we start getting into our kind of thoughts on that,
Cup champs by default.
for the
Yeah.
preseason, they were releasing. They didn't have to release, obviously, with HIPAA, anyways. They don't have to release any names. But once the season starts, due to obviously COVID being a worldwide pandemic, I think they're going to be releasing names beginning regular season who tested positive because
Welcome.
just of safety issues.
Right.
Yeah.
But as of now, we don't know who the actual players, coaches are of those 27.
Which I mean, essentially the NFL did too, like with their COVID/illness list. It was pretty much like you knew immediately that meant they have COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go for it.
Sorry, I was going to say, I would like to add there was one more unfortunate casualty with the coronavirus, and that would be to Evander Kane's bank account. If you thought we were gonna come on the show tonight and I was gonna take every opportunity to rip Evander Kane, you were sorely mistaken.
Wow.
So here's my thoughts on COVID, right? So like these guys are coming into camp. A lot of them are coming into camp without any sort of, they were just chilling before this, dude. You know what I mean? Like they were just chilling. And we've been in camp for what, a week, 2 weeks at most. Yeah. So I mean, of course, this is going to happen right now. Now, once the season begins, and these guys literally all they're doing is just playing hockey and being in the same hotel rooms with the same guys, I think you're going to see this number go drastically down.
Oh,
just
for
because
sure.
Just because of how strict the NHL is about it. I mean, the NFL and NBA, I can't really speak too much about them just because I don't really, pay too much attention to them. But I could just imagine that it's harder to wrangle up a football team than it is a hockey team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yes, because you have double the amount of players on a football team. But at the same time, that's the thing I wanted to touch on with other sports. It's like the same thing. We go all the way back to the start of baseball after the pandemic. You had the Tampa Bay Rays get ravaged with 19 players in the very first week, like right before the baseball season kicked off. And I mean, we thought it was like baseball season was doomed. And it was just kind of that transition period. People were coming back. It was something new. And it's the same thing like with the NHL. They were in a bubble. It was a little bit different. It was a much different experience. I think exactly what you said, Zach. It's more that they're coming from, some of them are going to be coming from home states. For example, like the Dallas Stars. They're in Texas. Texas is not having all these clampdowns that a lot of the other states are, like California.
Nope.
And New York.
No clamps for the Dallas defense. You heard it here first.
I mean, you also have Dallas even saying that they're gonna allow limited capacity of people in to watch the games and stuff like that. Like,
in an indoor arena.
They just don't give a shit about their constituents on there.
But then
on the flip side of that, people say you just don't care about freedom.
Your freedom, freedom.
Yeah. But it's funny because you take a moist environment like an enclosed hockey arena, and it's a breeding ground for diseases like COVID.
Cold, moist.
Cold and moist. Yeah.
Yep, they're fucked. I mean, someone's tired.
But I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, all of the sports really experienced it. I mean, even football, I know they had a little bit more throughout the season. There were constant times where people had to be out, but most of the time it was actually false positives. But
Isn't this past weekend a coach had a coach from his basement?
I vaguely remember hearing
hey, let's not.
You brought it up.
Let's not talk about that game specifically.
I'm just saying. Like, didn't the coach have to coach from his basement?
Yes. And you know what? At the end of the day, his team won, and I'm still mad about it. All right. So,
you win some, you lose some.
Scott, for coming on
another day.
Yes, but I mean, it's true. It's like a lot of the sports. I mean, I want to use baseball as the biggest example because we really thought baseball season was completely fucked once there 100%. Were 19 players on one team, and then there was another team that had like 6 players, and it was like, oh god, this is going to end very quickly. And then
Don Mattingly with Florida let his teams play like with COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I thought that shit was done.
And then we got 2-3 weeks in, and it was like. It was very minimal throughout the season. Like you said, you're going to have players just going, especially the NHL is really cracking down on it. They're usually pretty good about things like that. And they're going to, these players are going to be all together. I mean, the Dallas Stars, for example, like you had 17 players, but probably the reason there were 17 players with it is because one of them or 2 of them came and they actually had it. And now they're all hanging out and now it's spread throughout the team, but they're all together. And that's the reason you have this big outbreak. They're not going to.
Well, now they're immune.
Yeah, they're immune for 3 months.
Yep.
But
golden.
I think people are, kind of forgetting that we had that situation with the MLB, and I think we're going to be in a much better spot once we get through the first couple weeks of the season. You're not going to see this widespread COVID issue, it's going to be much more minimal. You might have a couple of players here and there miss because they're idiots, but I don't think you're going to see 17 players per team going around and we're going to be canceling games. I don't see that as what's going to happen. So I agree. Okay. I think we're all on board with that.
Oh, for sure.
But before we get into the notes, want to make sure I know Zach has, like I said, he's going to dip in early, so I won't give him the chance to kind of go through his breakout candidates and his bold predictions. I think we're going to give him the floor for a little bit, and then we'll get into ours when Zach's done.
Okay, so my first breakout candidate is going to be Adrian Kempe. And the reason why I say this, last season, 11 goals, 21 assists, kind of flopped around on different lines. I think this season, in a shortened season, he's going to at least score 15 goals. He's getting line consistency. He's going to have a dedicated disher to get him the puck. I believe after this season or next, Alex is going to be getting those big puffy nipples pierced. So that's my number one breakout candidate. My number two breakout candidate is going to be Jack Hughes. He's kind of not lived up to the potential that he had coming into camp, into the league. I do kind of feel that New Jersey might have rushed him a bit. Last season, he had 7 goals, 14 assists, which isn't going to cut it for a kid of that pedigree. I think this upcoming season, he's gonna have put on a little bit more weight, a little bit more experience in the league. So I'm gonna assume that he's gonna at least put up 10 goals, 20 assists, 30 assists, somewhere around there. Third breakout candidate, Capo Kakko of the New York Rangers.
Hey, I like it.
Okay, yeah.
Reason why I say this. Kid is going to be playing top line minutes with Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. Lafreniere is going to be put more into like a depth role, second and third line. Capo Kakko is going to get that top line minutes. Last season, 10 goals, 13 assists. I think in this shortened season, I expect him to put up 15 to 20 goals with those line mates. Does Zegras and Drysdale crack the lineup this year? I'm sure they might crack the lineup sometime this year, but they're already assigned to the goals. They're officially with the goals already.
Yeah.
Any rebuttals?
Hi, Tanner.
I mean, you already know what I'm going to say about Kempe, so I'm not going to bother. But the rest of those are all great. Honestly, man, like I can't. Those are all fantastic picks.
Yeah, I actually like it. Yeah. Didn't we talk about it in a party the other day about Kakko?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So I definitely think he's going to have a breakout year. And honestly, I mean, I know Kempe's been around for. See, like I was tossing it up between. Actually, you know what? I'm going to resend my Adrian Kempe. I am.
Oh, hey!
I'm going to resend my Adrian Kempe because there's a lot better of a breakout candidate on the Kings. And you know what his name is? You know what his name is? It's Gabriel fucking Velarde.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gabe Velarde.
Yeah.
Homeboy came into camp 15 pounds heavier, 15 pounds of pure muscle.
Yeah.
Todd McClellan has already said that he looks like a different. Hello. He looks like Tom McClellan already said that he looks like a different skater out there, not in a bad way. That he's just out there lighting it up, bro.
Yeah. And Dustin Brown has made comments about that as well. That was actually, I'm just going to jump on it now because that was actually my top breakout candidate. I agree with you. I think Velarde's going to have a bang-up season, but I'm curious what you think he's going to do in terms of point production. So I'll let you. So
last season in the limited amount of games, if you were to scale that up to a full regular 82 game season, he would have had 70 points. Don't know exactly how many goals, how many assists, but it's scaled up to 70 points in 82 games. So with that being said, I believe that he's going to at least put up 15 goals, 25 assists this upcoming season. He's going to have Martin Ferk on 1 week as long as Ferk is healthy. Ferk, if he can get the puck to Ferk, Ferk's going to blast it. And you also have Adrian Kempe. Adrian Kempe is a speedster, so I would definitely look for Gabe Velarde hitting, Adrian Kempe on just breakout passes or just streaking through the zone and stuff.
I like it.
I think those three together is going to be a very, very, very good line. Just because you have a speedster with hands, might not have the greatest to finish, but he can finish. Then you have a center with great hands, maybe not the best speed, has a great shot. And then you have a sniper on the other wing, just as
I love it.
A monster with a monster shot.
I love it.
With that kind of product, and you're hoping, does Velarde crack first line? Hopefully I didn't butcher his last name. I don't think he cracks first line. There's
he's going to be second line.
Yep, he's already going to be second seed this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, right? Nobody is taking that number 1 C spot from Anze Kopitar until he falls off a cliff. There's absolutely no way that anybody's going to. The guy still puts up points, plays against the toughest competition, and plays them extremely well. There, honestly, like when I remember when people are complaining about signing Anze Kopitar to that contract, right? And I understand the criticism. You paid him a lot of money. He was already close to 30, or at the downfall of his career. But honestly, man, like, all Kopitar has proven to me since being signed to that contract is he's like wine, bro. He gets better with age.
Yep.
So now you have a young stud and Gabriel Velarde underneath him. Now, I wish that they would get him a better winger than Martin Frk, just because he shoots hard doesn't mean he buries the puck. So, I wish there was like an Arthur Kaliev or somebody on his wing that, can legit bury the puck almost every single time. But I'll take what I can get right now, because I just think Gabe Velarde is just going to have a monster season. He's going to I think he's going to establish himself as a true NHLer. Like this kid is meant for this league.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
My 3 bold predictions. Number 1, Edmonton is going to win the North Division, and the reason why I say that, last season the Edmonton Oilers had the most points out of any Canadian team.
Okay.
Different division though.
That was a different division, but with that being said, I think Edmonton Oilers take first place in the North Division.
Okay.
Number 2, the Kings make the playoffs. They're going to squeak in at number 4, while giving Quentin Byfield, Alex Turcotte, and other kids playing time this season. I just think
that's bold.
I think the West is a weak division. We can afford to play these younger kids, let them get some growth and stuff like that. But since it's such a weak division, I still think they're going to take 4th. So that's number 2. Number 3, this isn't really it's a bold prediction. I guess I'll take it. Colorado Avalanche win the President's Trophy. And after they win the President's Trophy, they win the Stanley Cup this season.
That's a bold prediction.
That is very bold.
Yeah.
I like it.
They got better on defense. They're still just as stout. 1 through 4 lines. You have.
This is Tanner.
I mean, who the fuck are you gonna say, bro? Who the fuck are you gonna say, bro? I mean, the Ducks are shit. Absolute shit.
He just has to talk shit about the Kings. We know.
At least the Kings have actual forward lines, okay? Mm-hmm. So, Colorado Avalanche, they're stout through their 1 through 3 lines as far as like centers go. You have Nathan McKinnon. You can even slot Gabriel Landeskog in there. You also have Nazem Kadri, and then who's their 3C?
They have JT Comfort.
JT Comfort, great third line center.
With
so
1 year left at $4.5 million.
All 3 of those lines, I think, can put up pucks. You got better by acquiring Devon Taves on your back end. Mm-hmm. You also have Bowen Byram going to be cracking the lineup this season. The only question for me about Colorado is their goaltending. I mean, Pavel Francouz and Philip Grubauer have proven to be a pretty good one.
They were both out for that playoff.
Yep. They've proven to be a pretty good 1-2. Whether or not they're going to be able to carry him all the way through, I'm not too sure. But with that being said, bold prediction: Colorado Avalanche win the President's Trophy and win the Stanley Cup this season.
I like it. friends.
And that's it for me, boys and girls.
Go take care of the daughter. Thanks.
Bye,
Yeah, you have fun.
Tell me we said hello.
We're gonna play Among Us right now. Bye.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to
There you
listen
go.
to the
Yeah,
rest
you
of the
have fun with
episode
that.
to hear our bold predictions.
Bye.
For sure.
Mamas, what's your bold prediction? That the Kings are gonna win the Stanley Cup? I don't know. You heard it here first, folks. Bye.
She doesn't know. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh shit! I almost ended the broadcast.
Let's not do that.
We'll not do that. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, Zach got his speed run in. We're gonna do the rest of the episode a little bit different. I think we're gonna kind of go in our normal carousel. The way we do it normally.
Sure.
Zach had to go. But now that we started, I think we want to go. Do we want to go bold predictions first or breakout candidates? Does it matter? What do you
I
guys-
say, why don't we do breakout candidates and then go from there?
Perfect. All right. And then we'll go one each. Do we want to do it that way?
Yeah, I'm
All
good
right.
with that.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Alex, you wanna go first?
Disclaimer. We did a disclaimer the episode before.
Oh,
Disclaimer.
please.
We have never told anyone our breakout candidates, not
Yes.
even each other.
Yes.
So because of that, we may have repeats.
Yes.
There you go.
Let's
Zach
go.
Costin.
Disclaimer over.
Disclaimer done.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Alex, you wanna start?
My first one is going to be the growing man, the myth, the legend, the man that Alexander Ovechkin could not extinguish. It's going to be Andrei Svechnikov, Alex Svechnikov. Alex?
No,
Andre?
Andre.
Andre
You had it
Svechnikov.
right the first time.
Andre. And
Well,
also,
his-
that is
well,
mine.
his-
That is
He has two brothers that also play. He has an
yeah.
Alex and he has Yevgeny, who just got waived from the Red Wings. Anyways, unlike his now waived by a bottom team brother, Andrei Svechnikov has only gotten better and better and better each season.
and only 20 years old.
And only 20 years old, and he's already the top winger on an absolutely loaded, let me bring you guys back around on the screen, an absolutely loaded Hurricanes roster that has talent all throughout the top nine. Their decor is phenomenal. Their goaltending could be better, but whatever. When you're only 20 years old and you've put yourself into that polarizing of a position in a franchise that's that deep and that good, you're on a good start to bigger and better things. I think Svechnikov finishes top 5 in goals in the league in the shortened season.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think if Kaliev is not the spiritual successor to Ovechkin, then Svechnikov definitely is going to be the spiritual successor to Ovechkin.
I like it. I completely agree with you. So Svechnikov was one of my picks as well for a breakout candidate. And he was nearly point per game last season.
Yep.
But now that's why I think he breaks out and becomes easily a point per game player, and if not top 5 in points in the NHL.
The other thing I'd like to add is, we look at other similar Russian players to him in the NHL, guys like Kucherov, guys like Tarasenko. He's built a lot more stout than they are, even though he's a similar size. It'll be easier for him to stay healthy and, by extension, stay consistent throughout his career.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I like it. So that was one of yours, Scott?
Yeah, that was
So I
also
guess
one of
that
mine.
makes-
So yeah, go ahead,
All right.
Daniel. All you.
All right. So one of mine is actually somebody we touched on last week. I didn't. I think somebody else brought him up, but it was Anthony Duclair, left winger for the.
I just want to add that I feel like we've done Duclair every year for like the last 3 years.
I thought so. Maybe one of us did, but I thought I did him last year, and I went and looked, and my bold prediction was not Anthony Duclair. So
I think Duclair might have been one of mine last season. Maybe. Who knows?
And
For sure
either
wasn't
way,
mine.
he played well last season, so you weren't wrong. The reason I chose Duclair, the funny thing is, I'm going to preface mine. All of mine ended up being left wingers.
Okay.
Don't know how,
So
but
we're not going to overlap.
no.
Yeah, we won't overlap,
so-
which is good.
Anthony Duclair signed by the Florida Panthers this season. So 2019, 2020 stats, he had 23 goals, 17 assists, and 16 minutes, 16 seconds time on ice per game. So Duclair is going to the up-and-coming Florida team with much more firepower than Ottawa had. Still 40 points in Ottawa on a shortened season, I mean, I think that's the reason he gambled on himself. He's been a player that we've all talked about for ever since we started this podcast, prime for a breakout, but hasn't really had the chance, been moved so many times, ends up on different teams. And I think this last season with Ottawa, he really got the chance to just play. And he, like I said, he ended up banking on himself, taking a 1-year deal after rejecting a multi-year offer from Ottawa. I mean, it's a very minimal contract for what we thought maybe Duclair was looking for after he rejected that initial offer. And he's projected to slot on the top line with Barkov and Vergehi, according to the Daily Faceoff. When I looked today, I mean, anybody on a line with Barkov, especially when I'm predicting them to make the playoffs, since G didn't show up last week. I projected them to make the playoffs, and if he's going to be on a line with Barkov on a playoff team, I'm going to think he's going to have a pretty solid year, and I actually think he exceeds that 40 points even in a 53-game season. So that's my first breakout.
A lot of people in the comments talking about that being a freezing cold take, but I'm going to side with you. I agree.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with you.
G, hold on. Before we go with that, G also is trying to just give some kind of negative energy to the Florida Panthers because I think also thought they were going to be a playoff team like I did last season, and it didn't work out. He's just trying to reverse jinx it, and
okay.
Just let it go, G. It's fine. They're an up-and-coming team. They'll be fine. You are not ready for my bold prediction, though.
So I already did one. My second one with Zach, which was going to be Gabe Vilardi. So I'm just going to move on to my third.
Go ahead.
Okay. My third pick is going to be Dylan Strome from the Chicago Blackhawks. Now let me tell you why. So Dylan Strome has now been in the NHL for a total of five. Hold on, I have it here. Yeah, 5 seasons, right? First 3 seasons obviously spent with the Arizona Coyotes. In his 3 seasons with the Coyotes, in 48 games, in 3 seasons, he teed up 16 points.
I did not know it was that low.
And not only 16 points, but also a negative 21 rating.
Ouch.
Yes. However, first season he shows up in Chicago, 18-19, plays. They stick him on the wing on that DeBrincat-Kane line when DeBrincat was playing center.
Yes.
And he teed off 51 points in 58 games.
He completely turned around his career.
He had 17 goals and 34 assists. This past season, he was being moved between the second and third line, and he still finished with a respectable 38 points in 58 games. So a 13-point drop-off, but considering that you're playing significantly less ice time.
Yeah.
So going into this season with Jonathan Toews out for an extended period of time, this is really Dylan Strome's turn to show that he can be the number 1 center of Chicago once Toews' contract expires and that $10 million is off the books. That being said, he's going to be getting more power play minutes. He's going to be getting time on the PK because he's one of the best center. He is the best centerman on the team in terms of faceoff by the numbers. But when you're playing on a line with Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane, you're capable of teeing up a 60, 70-point season no matter who you are. When you add
very good point.
When you add a sizable center, a former 3rd overall pick, sizable center, who is only 23 years old. I mean, he's the size of Byfield. He's I think 6'3", like 200 pounds. So he's a good-sized dude with some wicked hands and some really good playmaking ability. I think he gets back to that 51-point mark, if not higher. I really don't see him teeing up more than 20, 25 goals on that line, given that you have 2 polarizing goal scorers on either side with Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat. But I don't think it's a stretch to say he could easily tee up a 45-assist, 50-assist season.
I like it.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree completely. He was definitely one of my choices too.
I mean, he wasn't one of my picks, but he was my bounce back candidate. So it's
okay. Yeah, see, agree completely.
So
all right,
you guys got, or Scott, I believe you have 2 left, right?
Yeah, I do have 2 left. So my first one, I'll go with an easier one. I'm gonna go with Igor Shesterkin.
I love it.
Actually, both of these are kind of easy, but yeah, I'll say Shesterkin just because as Zach's pointed out before, we have a really good Rangers team coming in. Zach would lose his mind because I also said that the Rangers are going to miss the playoffs. But that being said, you have a player last year who I think only played 12 games, but he was 10-2 in those 12 games that he played with a 932 save percentage. To come out, this is why I think that he's a breakout candidate, is just because he was so good last year, but just wasn't ready. He didn't get that starting position just yet. Now he's going to finally have full-time starting position, and I think he's going to completely go off.
He's going to hit 50, I think 50 games this year. Well, not 50 because it's
like 48, yeah.
Yeah, but I think he'll hit at least 40 games this season.
Yeah.
Especially playing it.
That's fair because they're going to have a lot of back-to-back. They'll probably 40 because
true, yeah.
3 this season, right? Is it 53 games?
56, I believe.
Or 56, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of back-to-backs.
Mm-hmm.
So before I get into my next candidate, I do want to hit what G said. He said Huberdeau, Barkov, Duclair. I thought so too. And if Huberdeau is on that line, that only solidifies my pick for Duclair. The problem is like I said, I just checked daily face-off, so they're usually pretty good, but it's not 100% accurate yet. We'll find out when they actually play, or when the coach announces the line. If Huberdeau's on that line, I mean Duclair is an actual sure-in for what I predicted. But for Gahey is who they threw on the line at daily face-off. I just want to make sure he didn't think threw this out of nowhere. So my second breakout candidate here, I actually have Tomáš Tatar.
I love it.
A breakout candidate at 28 years old?
Yes.
Hey.
Okay.
So, breakout candidate 2019-2020. He had 22 goals, 39 assists, 16-18 of time on ice per game. So Tatar has been an interesting player to me, as he has called a couple of dumpster fire teams home.
That is hard pass.
Yes. He was on Detroit when they were completely rebuilding. Now he went to Montreal. Last season was kind of a surprise. Montreal's really reshaped their team. I know I'm pretty sure either 2 or 3 of us picked Montreal to make the playoffs this season in that division. And either way, they're going to be competing. I know I picked Montreal not to make it because I picked some other teams in that spot, but they're still going to be competing for a spot. Tatar is projected to slot on the top line with Deneau and Gallagher. And the North Division has 3 goalies. One of them is on Montreal. That's my projection is that North Division here is just, I said it last week. They have 3 goalies. One of them is Carey Price. He's going to be on that top line. Donat is really proved to be, doing well in that, that 1C spot for Montreal. Brendan Gallagher's been nothing but great for Montreal the last couple of seasons. And like I said, 2 or 3 of us picked them to make the postseason. So I think Tatar's got a shot to really break it.
I'll add one more just to piggyback. You guys know that I've been a Tomáš Tatar fan for a very long time.
Same here.
Tomáš, he's been in the league for 10 seasons now. This will be his 10th season in the NHL. He has missed the 20-goal mark twice.
Yeah, and that's due to injury, I'm pretty sure.
In his rookie season when he only played 9 games, and in his sophomore season when he only played 18 games. Every season he has played a minimum of 50 games in this league. He has scored at least 20 goals. Last season with his 29 goals, in 2014-15, he had a 29-goal campaign, which has been his highest to date. But, I mean, you can't argue those numbers. So last season, he was 7 goals away from matching his career high that he set, 8 years ago? He's like, yes. Bring up that comment by Zach.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, 100%. Craig Smith, to me, has always been one of the most, quietly quietly consistent players in the NHL we talked about up until last season. He scored
Yep.
20 goals a season
I
for
agree.
5 years.
In that.
Tatar is a more talented Craig Smith.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Craig Smith also played on the Predators, and the Predators were still a potential cup contending team for 5 or 6 years. Tatar, like you said, has played for nothing but dumpster fires. And even when he went to Vegas, he just didn't fit the system for the.
He was injured.
He was there.
He was there for half a season.
Yeah.
Not even half a season. It was the last quarter of the season.
But even when he came back from injury, he still looked flat because he didn't mesh in that lineup. But if you put Tatar,
we said that as soon as he got traded there. Yeah, that it wasn't.
There's very few players that I feel offer that kind of key consistency in a top 6 role in the NHL, where you know that guy's going to get you 40 to 50 points a season. And those guys are Victor Arvidsson, Thomas Tatar, Jason Zucker, and Craig Smith.
Tomas.
I said Tomas, and you said Thomas.
I did not say Thomas.
You did. Anyways, so those 4 guys to me are the most reliable players in the league. And of those 4, I would say he is the most talented.
I agree.
So not a far stretch. The only thing that makes me want to argue it with you is that he is 30 years old, so it's a little late to break out. But then again, like we keep talking about with the NHL developing the way that it is, it's not hard to imagine that a player breaks out at 30. So
all right, Scott.
Agreed.
Alex already finished this, so you're
not
already
finished. So my final one is a player I feel like we really haven't talked about at all, but it's a player I believe I drafted in fantasy, and that's Kyler Yamamoto.
I like that pick a lot too.
Nice.
And the main reason, so first of all, let me bring up his stats from last season. Last season, in 27 games played, he had 11 goals and 15 assists for 26 points. He was almost a point per game as a rookie.
And was already the third best player on the Oilers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, and that's exactly my point. Well, I don't know if it was his. Yeah, it was his rookie season. He only played 17 games the season before, but yeah, on his rookie season, puts up 26 points in 27 games played, and now there was an announcement that he's been practicing on the top power play line with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm. I read that,
and so I'm just so excited to watch him play, and I'm so excited to have him on fantasy.
Don't forget, and I'll touch back on it later, but they now have a consistent power play quarterback on that number 1 PP unit, Tyson Barrie.
That's right.
So yeah, we will talk about that later. Actually, I think we might have the same reason why.
We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, now they have Tyson Barrie on their power play as well. So that power play is going to be stacked. We already saw the numbers that Leon Draisaitl put up next to Connor McDavid. Now you have 2 of them together with Kyler Yamamoto.
He didn't put up production next to Connor McDavid. He crushed Connor McDavid.
Hold on, I gotta.
What the fuck? We do not condone the comments that are viewers.
No. So you can say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He's allowed to do that.
We still do not for professional purposes. We do not condone comments. Yeah, we're really not.
Is RGM?
Yeah, that's G.
That's why he lives in Ontario.
There's a lot of Asian people in Vancouver. What are you talking about?
No, he lives in Ontario, California.
Oh, he do?
Yeah. Well, he's Asian, so yeah, it makes sense. It was either going to be that or Artesia.
Damn. All right. G will probably post a comment on that. He'll say that's racist. That's what he always posts. So my final breakout candidate here. Some will say that this is biased. Others just don't realize and watch enough West Coast hockey. My breakout candidate is actually Alex Iafallo, LA Kings, left wing.
Okay,
let's
hear the argument.
All right, so 2019-2020 stats. He had 17 goals, 26 assists, 1856 time on ice. He's still on the top line with Kopitar.
Okay.
West Division got weaker. He has shown consistent improvement sticking with Kopitar on the Kings top line, and they are on the upswing. Most of us predicting the Kings to make the playoffs this season.
I didn't.
So I understand. I said most of us
I know.
predicting the Kings to make the playoffs this season. So just the fact that the Kings,
sorry, Daniel. 2 Kings breaking out is not too many Kings expected to break out.
Yeah.
It could be 6.
Yeah, you better calm down there, buddy, because I picked a lot of Sabres last week, so calm your tits. My last note here is very true. The Kings should compete for the playoffs because there's no complete, fourth team that's a sure in for the playoffs.
Oh, definitely not.
Just the fact that they can compete, it will give additional drive to these players. We talked about it with Doughty. You have a team that can actually and should make the playoffs this season because of the weak division, the consistency. They're done with the rebuild. They just need the young players to get in there. Iafalo's stuck on that first line with Kopitar, which is one of the top playmakers in the league. Whether you watch the Kings or not, you probably should watch more Kings games if you don't think Kopitar is an elite playmaker. Just being on that line and having a consistent role there, plus the fact that the Kings are just going to be a better team this season with the fact that they can compete for a playoff role, I think that's going to give enough of a drive to give Iafalo a breakout season, and you're not ready for the bold prediction later.
I will say this. I don't think Iafalo sees an increase in point production as long as he plays on a line of Dustin Brown. This is not a knock on Dustin Brown. Their play style is too similar. They need a sniper on that right wing. Yeah. If Iafalo's production is going to increase. Because right now you got 2 bloodhounds that like to dig pucks out in the corners and play close to the net, and then Kopitar.
Yeah.
You have 2 players who play the same style on his wing. I feel if Iafalo is going to take that next step in production, they have to have an opposite yet complementary piece on the right wing. But somebody has to put pucks on net and not just have 2 guys grinding in front of the net for pucks that never comes.
So the reason I also picked this as a breakout candidate and kind of a surprise is because I actually think Iafalo is going to try to take that role. He's going to take more shots on net and not be – because they know that Brown's going to be there on the right side and he's going to dig the pucks out of the corner. I think he's going to be the guy that now tries to take more shots on net because his shot is good.
He does have a good shot.
Significantly more goals.
I just feel that even though his shot is, we'll say just better than Dustin Brown's, I don't think
he's not a sniper. I know that.
I don't think, he's not that type of player. That's not how he plays the game. That's not how he reads the game. That's not how he sees the game. You need a guy like Kaliev stands 2 seasons from now when he develops a little bit that's going to be able to throw the puck on net from a little bit further out, generate rebounds and generate chances like that, while Iafalo grinds in front of the net and Kopitar quarterbacks the offense.
So get this. What if Brown, as a veteran, decides he's going to take that role?
First of all, and I've said this before, Dustin Brown is absolutely capable of taking that role.
Yeah.
If he completely changes his skating style, which at 33, 34 years old, I don't see happening. No. If he just throws the puck on net a little more like he did in his early to mid-20s,
that's all I mean. Just throw it on
that
net.
Would be great. But we'll see. We actually have a question in the comments if you want to bring that up.
Yeah, I'll put it up. Yep. For those that are not watching on the stream, so Mr. Mavs, which is Real Gentleman from our league, serious inquiry. What's our prediction on where Keith Yandel? It doesn't matter at this point. He hates Keith Yandel. Where he'll land as far as a team. Saravelli says he has fallen out of favor, though Yandel says he hasn't been asked to waive.
So Scott Scott Sowis will tell you that Keith Yandel is going to land right in his bed.
I wish. Boy, do I wish.
Keith Yandel is Scott Salas's favorite player.
One of my favorite players for sure.
I disagree strongly that Keith Yandel is going anywhere, only because who do you put with Aaron Ekblad that's as good as Keith Yandel on that defense?
He's still so good. I mean, he's not a great defender.
They've already said that they've. So he's actually basing this off of like real information. They've already said that
real rumors.
He was in the second group of defensemen when they were doing the. A lot of the teams did the scrimmages the other day, and he was in the second group of players that basically might not make the roster. He was fighting for a position on the Florida Panthers roster.
I don't know, man. Keith Yandel is such a dangerous offensive defenseman. He's such a good power play quarterback. It's hard to so me looking at it through the eyes of a general manager, it's so hard to replace a guy like that. Even if you had for example, if we still had Jake Muzzin, right? But we had Bjorn Fott in the wickets this season. Yep. We can kind of justify moving on from Jake Muzzin because we have that heir apparent, and we know he's coming. We're just not sure if the development will take the turn that we wanted to this year, but it's coming. Who do you have in Florida that is Keith Yandel too? Nobody. Their defensive core is weak. They can't afford to give up a guy like that, especially because Aaron Ekblad is so good defensively. Well, his two-way game is good in general. He's a good offensive defenseman. But he's a better shutdown defenseman because he has someone like Keith Yandel that can facilitate the breakout and run the first power play unit. Without Keith Yandel, that defense is not as effective in the offensive zone as they have been.
He's not what he used to be, but at the same time, I think it's. I think at the same time, like this is an interesting situation because I understand where G's coming from because the Florida Panthers just haven't been what they were expected to be. But at the same time, I agree with what you're saying. Do you have that defenseman ready to step up into a role that Yandel is consistently doing?
So,
they work together. I know they have some prospects coming. I know they have some guys they want to see play, but at the same time,
let me tell you,
Yandel not what he used to be.
Yep,
but he's still an effective defenseman, especially on the offensive.
Okay, so let me tell you guys what their decor looks like. Also, Keith Yandel is still probably one of the top 5 at the worst top 10 offensive defensemen in the NHL.
Without a doubt.
Maybe a cone, but
their top. Okay, you want to talk about cones? Their top pair projection is Aaron Ekblad and Mackenzie Weegar.
I don't think that's a cone. Honestly, I think Weegar,
not a cone.
No, Weegar and Ekblad.
Their second pairing is Riley Stillman and Anton Strawman. Anton Strawman's a solid D-man, but he's a stay-at-home D-man. And their third pairing is
a good spot for Yandel.
And their third pairing is Gustav Forsling and pro MMA fighter Ratko Gudas.
Gudas is all right. You can't call him.
That's not that bad. I think Yandel over Stillman, but I don't know Stillman as much. I mean,
you cannot tell me that Stillman, Forsling, and Gudas
I like
are better than Keith Yandel.
I don't think Forsling's better than Yandel, but I think Yandel fits where was that Stillman?
Yeah,
Stillman's at. I don't know Stillman. I mean. I'm pretty good about hockey, just players in general. I've never heard of Stillman. G, just being a Florida Panthers fan, maybe knows him a little bit better. But I think Yandel being there with who did you say was his partner? Stillman and
Strawman.
Strawman, yeah. Being with Strawman, that's good because you have the offensive D-man and the defensive D-man there.
I will say, I will add also, going back to your point earlier about Huberdeau playing on the top pairing, that is not the case as Daily Faceoff is reporting.
That's what I said.
Their top 12 is fucking filthy. Fucking filthy. Verhaeghe, Barkov, Duclair projected at number 1. Second line, Huberdeau, Alex Wenberg, who I totally forgot they got from Columbus, and Patrick Hornquist. Third line, Vinny Hinostroza, Noel Ashari, and Brett Connolly. Their fourth line is Frank Vetrano, Eetu Luosterainen, and Owen Tippett. They are ranked by Daily Faceoff as the number 1 fourth line in the NHL going into this season,
which honestly makes sense. I'm not gonna lie.
Over the Islanders, which I'm now very curious what the Islanders' fourth line is ranked. You have got to be fucking kidding me. Matt Martin, Casey Cizikas, and Cal Clutterbuck ranked the number 26th.
That's bullshit.
31.
That is so
in
wrong.
The NHL. That is
they could not be
that
so
is
wrong.
A freezing cold take. That is a freezing cold take. I
have the Islanders going to the playoffs, by the way. Yeah, no, Zach actually, he is convinced that there is no one but on the Islanders besides their top line.
The Islanders.
Doesn't think, by the way, he doesn't think the Islanders are going to make the playoffs.
But he does think that the Islanders have the best fourth line in the NHL. Do you know who's ranked directly behind them? This is how sad this ranking is. The Kings are 27th with Matt Luff, Mike Amadio, and Trevor Moore.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That makes zero sense.
How? Also, hot take, because Martin Frk is out with an injury, Daniel's going to get his wish. It's not going to be Martin Frk playing with Gabe Vilardi. It'll be Austin Wagner, Adrian Kempe, and Gabe Vilardi.
Oh, by the way, to answer G's comment or question, I'm too biased because I would say you don't get rid of Keith Yandel at all. But if he were to go to a team, probably the Senators. Why wouldn't they?
Yes,
they have the cap space for it.
Yes,
and they could use another defenseman,
but also Nashville.
Maybe, yeah, I can see it.
Also Nashville, because they could really use an offensive or a left-handed offensive defenseman to pair with Ryan Ellis, since Yossi and Ekholm dominate the top pairing. Daniel, you're back.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay, I have a freezing cold take from Daily Faceoff for you.
Okay.
So the Florida Panthers' top fourth line was ranked by Daily Faceoff the number 1 fourth line going into this season.
Yeah.
Over the New York Islanders.
Okay.
Now, here comes the freezing cold take. Would you like to guess out of 31 where the fourth line of Matt Martin, Casey Cizikas, and Cal Clutterbuck is ranked by Daily Faceoff?
Are you fucking... Hold on. I don't like where this is going. I would say with that...
It is a unanimous decision on this podcast that fourth line is the best, if not top 3 best fourth lines in the league, right?
Yeah.
Give me your ranking.
Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and say,
let me preface what I was going to say. Let me preface that the Kings, Michael Amadio, who was it? Trevor Moore, and and Wagner are 27th.
Oh, interesting.
So where do you think the Islanders are rated?
Well, just with that attitude, I'm going to guess it's in the 20s somewhere. I'm hoping not worse than that, but
the 26th worst fourth line in the NHL belongs to the New York Islanders, and that is a colder take than an Islanders arena full of screaming COVID positive fans.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
I agree with that.
Freezing cold take.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get a picture of my beer here.
With that being said, let's move on to our bold predictions.
Oh, and then I said,
yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He actually responded to the question that G made, and I said I'm too biased to answer, but I would have to say the Senators. I think if you were to go to another team, I think the Senators have the cap space.
And I said Nashville.
Okay. Ooh, if he goes to Nashville.
Well, that's what I was saying, is that you have Matthias Ekholm and Roman Yossi. Well, it kind of doesn't make sense now that they have Dante Fabro, who's developing really well. So I might take that down. Minnesota needs everything.
I mean, honestly, at this point, if
They don't
get
need
rid of him,
defense.
if they get rid of Yandel, yes, he's going to go to a bottom feeder team that has cap space.
I have
will
I
just
have a
be complete
solution.
offensive defense.
I have a solution that will make everyone happy.
Is it
Straight
the LA
trade. No. Rasmus Ristolainen out of Buffalo for Keith Yandel.
Matt, thoughts?
Matt, thoughts? Nobody
Matt,
wants
what
Keith
are
Yandel
the
in
thoughts
Florida.
on Matt?
Nobody wants Rasmus Ristolainen in Buffalo. They're even players. Swap them.
Well, Ristolainen is also a lot younger.
Can you imagine a power play quarterbacked on the first pairing by Rasmus Dahlin and on the second line by Keith Yandel?
Ooh. See,
That's a dirty
that's the
one,
thing
too.
is, that's the thing is, I know a lot of us are biased with our teams. We try to be the most, we try to put our biases aside with a lot of our takes. But yeah, see, Matt said the same thing. Risto's way younger. I agree. I think Ristolainen, he's just getting the unfair shake. I think he's perfectly fine there. I know they want more, but when you're looking at a Yandel that's what, he's 30 plus, right? He's over 30.
31, I believe. 31, I believe.
Okay. I mean, 30 plus, and you got Ristolainen, which is way younger than that. In the
34.
same role, I'd rather have the younger guy. That
Matt, that would not be the worst trade of all time. Do not forget that the LA Kings once traded Martin Jones for Milan Lucic. That Boston then won the entire trade and flipped for a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So Boston shafted us on two ends there. Okay, moving on to bold predictions. What do we want to start with, our teams or our players?
Let's start teams first. We'll go one each like normal.
Okay.
All right. I can get a 13 one, so that gives me time.
Okay,
can I actually start?
Alex, wait, you start that.
Let's start with this one.
Go for it.
Because we were talking about Minnesota's defense. And so are we doing a player first or a team?
Team first.
Team first? Minnesota Wild will get at least 35 wins this season.
That's bold. That's hell bold. Out of 56?
56, they get 35 wins.
I'm calling your mom to take
Hold on. I want to hear the thought process on this one.
So my thought process on this one is mainly it's going to go into another bold prediction I have, but it's mainly based off of Minnesota's defense. Okay. And so it's why I talked about like Minnesota. I don't think would need a guy like Keith Yandel. I think they need depth in their defense. We have Jared Spurgeon, Ryan Suter, Matt Dumba, Jonas Brodin. I mean, obviously you get like Carson Soucy and like you get down the line, and that's why I do think they need depth. They don't need a guy like Keith Yandel, but their defense last year was pretty locked down. They were a pretty shut down defensive team.
I mean, that's the reason they ended up where they were, right?
Exactly. And I mean, so I just feel like based off of their defense,
but they also got rid of their goaltending though.
Based off of their defense, and we will talk about my next bold prediction.
Okay. Okay.
I think that Minnesota Wild somehow get 35 wins this season.
Okay. All right. Daniel, you want to go next, or you want me to go?
All right, I'll go my team. Okay.
So we're just gonna go reverse order.
Yeah, Okay. All right. So my team won here again. We're gonna have Matt comment about the Kings, but I already said most of us already said last week we think that the Kings are going to make the playoffs, except for Scott.
I don't think
are going to make the playoffs in the fourth spot. So I think that this is a bold prediction. The Kings are not only going to have a playoff berth, but they are going to get there on the backs of a Selke, Norris, and Calder Trophy winners.
Scott's face.
Hold on. It's a bold prediction. So no. Hold on.
No, I get it.
Let me explain. So I know one of our predictions last week, as far as a breakout candidate, somebody had Drew Doughty. We all think that Doughty is probably going to be back. Yes, he's going to be a bounce back candidate. And if you're on a team that most of us think are going to make the playoffs, and you're going to bounce back, and you're one of the top defensemen as far as transition game and actually playing defense, not just offensive standards, and you're going to have a competent, reliable, stay-at-home D-man there, I think Doughty can end up being in the Norris talk. I know Zach.
Okay.
That was something Zach said last week as far as a breakout candidate. He might be in the Norris race. Selke, I picked Anjay to win the Selke as far as our predictions last week. And Calder, I don't know who it's going to be. I think that if
I said Turcotte for fun.
Yes, you said Turcotte for fun. If Turcotte or Byfield get more than the games that will just, we all think that Byfield's going to be saved on his, his year. But I just think that the Kings will have a player, especially if they're in that contention, that is going to, because that's what we're relying on. We're relying on the young players. It's going to be a guy that's going to be eligible to win the Calder Trophy. So I just think that, again, these are bold predictions as far as a team goes. I think the Kings are going to make the playoffs with a Selke, Norris, and Calder Trophy winner. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Very bold.
It's bold, but it's in the realm of possibility. That's what we're trying to go for.
My first team prediction. Daniel, I told you about this one before we recorded tonight. My first one is going to be the Ottawa Senators will choose to protect goaltender Philip Gustafson for the Seattle expansion draft. I'll add on to it. The Nashville Predators will elect to reserve Pekka Rinne as their goaltender. And you will see the opening night tandem in Seattle of UC Saros and Matt Murray.
I agree with Matt Murray going to Seattle. No way UC Saros goes to Seattle.
Bet.
It's a bold prediction. It is a very bold prediction.
That's what we're going for. Yes. Matt, yes. Okay. Calder Trophy got a lot harder. Yes. Agreed.
And then I don't understand the second comment when there's the second I want thoughts. Or is he asking if we can provide thoughts on the Calder race in general?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I think this is going to be the hardest season we've seen in a long time to find a clear-cut contender if we're not going solely based off points.
Two Rangers who are potential favorites to win the Calder.
Not only two Rangers, there are maybe four goalies.
At least two, for sure. And that's Shesterkin and
Samsonov.
No, not Samson. Oh, Samsonov is
Samsonov too.
Samsonov's the candidate.
But what's his name? Oh my god, I completely forgot.
What team?
Yeah, what team?
I don't remember. Sorry. No, I completely have a brain fart here. I don't even remember. There were talks about like a potential another potential winning the
Sorokin.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Ilya Sorokin. Mm-hmm. Nothing but Russian-born goalies. Let's go.
No, I mean it's true. I mean, okay, yes, Matt. Before we get into the rest of us, I agree. I think this, like Alex said, it's not a clear-cut Calder race this season. Obviously, I mean, we all most of us had Makar last year. Yeah, Dylan Cousins, definitely a candidate there, especially on the up and coming Sabres. I agree. Yeah. Again, like. Those are fair points. We are going to have you on for the Buffalo Sabres podcast. Again, these are kind of bold predictions that we're just coming up with based on, our own heart plus stats.
I'll give you guys a list that I'm pulling directly from TSN of the top rookies to watch. And just based off this list, just the top 10, because some of the guys that we want on this list, like Velarde and some of those other guys, aren't even on here.
Yeah,
Not only is
I think
Velarde not on
Turcotte
here,
was on it, right?
no, and Samsonov is not on here either.
Weird.
Weird, yeah. In the Vegas odds, I know that he's one of the.
Yeah, last week when he looked it up, Turcotte was like 4th, I think, on the.
Well, and on top, I think Velarde still qualifies. No,
I think so too.
yeah, he hasn't exceeded 25 goals, so Velarde would be another pick.
Games?
I'm not gonna,
Games, yeah, games.
25 games, not goals.
I'm going in order from bottom contender to TSN's top contender. Liam Foudy from the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is kind of a stretch. Kaapo Kakkonen from Minnesota, another goalie. Bowen Byram in Colorado.
Yeah.
If Cale Makar can do it, he can do it. Grigory Denisenko from the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, that was my Calder pick this season.
Yeah, so another Russian. Quentin Byfield.
Okay, Russia pride.
Tim Stutzel.
The red curtain is out.
The red curtain is out. Ilya Sorokin, Alexis Lafreniere, Kirill Kaprizov, another Russian, and Igor Shesterkin. That gives us 14 or 15 quality Calder candidates right there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I
and Dylan Cousins, obviously. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, Dylan Cousins, and you've got I know Turcotte's unfit to play this week, or he's going to be out for 10 days. If Turcotte makes the roster, he's a valid candidate. Byfield, if he gets more than the 7 games allotted, he's a candidate. There's tons of fucking players that can actually.
Kirby. I didn't realize Kirby Dach played 64 games last season.
Oh. Yeah, he can't win, but at the same time, even if he could, this season,
he's 19 years old. Just let him compete.
Yeah, but he's not going. He's not going to be able to compete with his fucking broken wrist. He's probably going to be out for the whole. Oh, okay. Well, that's what I asked you last week, G. I said, is Denisenko going to make the roster? If he's going to make the roster, that was my pick. That's who I picked for the Calder, and so I'm done already.
Scott, who's your second pick? I got 15 minutes left here, boys, so we got to power through this.
Do you?
Yeah, it's about almost.
All right, power through it. The Dallas Stars missed the playoffs. Now, this was a bold prediction when I first came up with it. COVID cases are proving that might be a regular prediction. But a Stanley Cup finalist, Dallas Stars, is I don't think they make the playoffs. With the injuries to Sagan and Jamie Benn, I just don't think they make the playoffs at all.
Okay, injuries, that's fair.
Dan, who's your second?
So, the Toronto Maple Leafs finished the season with the Rocket Richard, like I projected, with Austin Matthews, but they missed the playoffs. So, just I picked Toronto to actually win that North Division.
Yes.
My problem with this is exactly what I said last week. There are 3 good goalies in that division. Toronto's is not one of them. I think a lot of those teams in that the Canada-only division, have really, really good offensive teams.
True.
And Toronto's defense and goaltending is not particularly elite. So,
same with the defense.
Again, it's a bold prediction. I picked Toronto to make the playoffs and win that division. But again, these are bold predictions. I think that out of the realm of possibilities, I think that all of the North Division teams can score on a pace that Toronto can. And they don't have one of the top 3 goaltenders in that division. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, Freddie Anderson is not an elite goaltender by any means.
Okay.
So, who's next? Alex? Your last one?
Okay. So, my next one. So, the Winnipeg Jets obviously already in cap trouble. We all know that.
Yes.
Where are my notes for this here? So, the Winnipeg Jets next season will have 3 major RFAs. They'll have Andrew Kopp, Neil Pionk, and obviously, as we've all been hearing, the rumor mill Patrick Laine. There's not enough money for Laine as is, right? So just like the Jacob Trouba situation, somebody has to go. The issue is, for whatever reason, yes, I know he's still consistent, they will not move on from Blake Wheeler.
I like that.
It is costing them quality prospects. They could have held Jacob Trouba if they already had moved Blake Wheeler. They're going to lose not only Patrick Laine, but they will also lose Neil Pionk.
So they traded Trouba for Pionk and won't even keep him.
Yes.
Oof.
I have more.
Okay.
Not only do I think they will trade Laine, I think the situation will get so desperate that they'll take an undervalued trade for Laine, and none of the players they acquire will pan out to the star status that Laine has the potential. I think whoever they swap Laine to will 10 years from now will have murdered that trade. Please be LA.
I mean, that is bold. I mean, it makes sense that they wouldn't get rid of Blake Wheeler because
I'll add one more comment here. Kevin Cheveldaev is one of the top 3 worst general managers in the NHL.
Okay.
All right. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Maybe. Right. You may not have heard it here first. You may have heard it somewhere else.
My last bold prediction.
First time I heard it.
Let's see. My last bold prediction. I believe on the back of Braden Holtby, this is, and I will count this as a team bold prediction, the Vancouver Canucks win the Jennings.
Ooh.
Like it. I like it a lot.
My only concern would be his health and how well Thatcher Demko plays.
I do not see that as a concern. I think if his health is bad, I think Thatcher Demko is perfectly capable.
Got it, yeah. And
that's what
we've seen how
often
lately goalie tandems have been able to win the Jennings.
I like that, Scott.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
That is a good one. So I do have a also bold prediction in the West Division. As much as people think that the Arizona Coyotes are going to compete for a playoff spot,
me included,
I think that they finish just above the Ducks as the worst team in the division.
I mean, honestly, like I can also see that. Yeah.
I can see.
As much as I picked them to be in the playoffs, I could still potentially see that.
Honestly, that's probably my weakest bold prediction, but I couldn't think of a better third one, so that's where I land.
Still not a bad one. Okay, my third. I have 2 jumping around in my head. So
wait, before you continue.
Yes.
G,
we got G and fucking Matt arguing in chat about whose line he's going to end up on. We got Huberdeau, Barkov, Laine, can't wait. And then Matt says, Hall, Eichel, Laine, book it.
I love that just happened around the same time they both sent the message.
So, okay, my third bold prediction. I picked one.
All
Despite missing Nikita Kucherov and the fact that Steven Stamkos is the most unreliable star player in the NHL, the Lightning go back to the Stanley Cup final as the Eastern Conference representatives.
I like it. That's a bold prediction.
They have,
but that's actually a bold prediction. They have so much depth. I was the one that was most okay with them being back as winning that division.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still think that's.
I was gonna go with them winning the division. I'm like, no, let's take it one step further. Because if you look at that team, even though they have to move Cap out, they don't balance out trading Cap for quality. No. It's like they trade someone away, but then magically out of nowhere, somewhere in the prospect system is somebody who's already just as good as they are.
Because their AHL team is still stacked too.
Yeah. And I think
Syracuse crunch. Matt, I need thoughts on the Syracuse crunch.
Anthony Cirelli is one of the most underutilized centers in the league right now, because even though he does a great job as a controlling energy line 3C, he is absolutely capable of being a consistent 2C in the NHL.
I agree.
So
underrated.
give it. So look, you have Kucherov out, right? You have Point to fill his point production. You need a number one seat. Point is also that guy. So you have three.
That's my next jersey, by the way.
Look,
I want the third jersey.
There are teams that win the Stanley Cup with one franchise player. The Lightning have 5.
You're not wrong, actually.
You're not wrong.
You're really not.
You can absolutely build an entire franchise around Victor Hedman,
Point, Kucherov,
Stamkos, Andre
Vasilevsky. Yep. Oh, and hold on. You could even throw in what's his name? The other defenseman that we wanted.
Who?
Come on,
Mikko
Sergachev.
Franchise
build around. A guy to build around is what I consider a franchise.
Potentially, yeah.
You look at their
build around it.
I'm gonna pull up their lineup right now. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up.
They're not missing that much with. I mean, Kucherov is a complete game changer, but so is Braden Point.
So look, right now
Braden Point and Stamkos. Yes,
right now they are projecting Steven Stamkos to be healthy, ready to start the season. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So here is your Lightning starting roster going into the season. Top line, Andre Palat, who has already proved that he can play first line minutes and still produce.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the most versatile playmakers in the league. Braden Point and Steven Stamkos.
Oh,
your second line is Alex Killorn, Anthony Cirelli, and Matthew Joseph, who were electric in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a really good line.
Played so well.
Mm-hmm.
Their third line, probably my favorite third line in the NHL. Barclay Goodrow, Yanni Gourde, and Blake Coleman.
Yes, I agree. Yes, Blake
Their
Coleman.
fourth line, Mitchell
Goodrow.
Stevens,
Yep.
Alexander Volkov, who's going to develop into a top 6 forward, mark my words, and
Russian.
And back-to-back Stanley Cup winner Patrick Maroon.
Yep, that's a really good fourth line. That gives the fourth line.
Here's another one.
Fourth line a run.
Here's another one for you. Jan Ruda, Victor Hedman, top defensive pairing. Okay, you want your weaker D-man to be anchored by your franchise D-man. Perfect.
Okay, yeah.
Second line, Mikhail Sergachev, and another potential franchise, if not elite caliber defenseman, Kalen Foote.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Third pairing.
Potential, he said.
Yeah. Third pairing.
Yeah, Kalen Foote, yep.
Eric Cernak.
Oh, Cernak is, Cernak is great.
And McDonough. I don't know about you, but I don't really see.
That's the third pairing?
That's the third pairing.
Shit. That's so good.
Yikes. Oh my God. McDonough and Cernak?
You guys. Kucherov is not really a concern for me on this roster.
No, he's not. I mean, that's the thing is he's such a game changer, but you don't lose that much with Braden Point.
Yeah, so your top 6 is Palat, Point, Stamkos, Killorn, Cirelli, Joseph, right? If Kucherov were to slot back into the lineup tomorrow, right, they would run Alex Killorn, Braden Point, and Andre Palat because that line has always been solid.
Yeah, that's line
and
two.
They would run Matthew Joseph, Steven Stamkos, and Nikita Kucherov up top. Done.
Yikes. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give Billiams the props on being a Tampa Bay Lightning fan for this.
Yeah. That team is built to last.
That pain against Columbus was worth it.
Let's jump into our individual candidates and I'll take off before you guys wrap it up here. If you guys don't mind, I will lead off because I have
I can wrap it up. It's fine.
I got some biggies. Hold on. I closed my tab to pull up their stats. Or to pull up their lineup. So let me just pop
trash can.
Let me just pop that back open real quick here. Where did I leave it? Hold on. Sorry about this. Okay, there we go. Okay, my first one. Alexander Ovechkin goes full Red Army, but not the way you'd think. Ovechkin is going to re-sign on a 4-year cap-friendly deal with the Caps.
I have an idea about that. Yeah, I like it.
And bet on himself to chase Wayne Gretzky's 894 goals. As we sit tonight, Ovechkin is only 189 goals away from being the top goal scorer in NHL history.
That he is.
If anyone is going to score 200 goals in 4 years, it's going to be Alexander Ovechkin.
I agree. I can see it.
Yeah.
Especially if they just say, hey, Ovechkin, it's fine. Just go sit on the fucking dot and just
start teeing you up.
Fine. Yeah. I don't care what you do other than that.
All right. My first bold prediction. Daniel, you said you liked the idea of Minnesota, but you just didn't know with them getting rid of their goaltending. I think Cam Talbot comes back. I've said this before, and it completely blew up in my face. I think Cam Talbot comes back, and he actually gets I'm not even going to say he's a finalist, but he gets votes for the Vezina.
He gets votes.
I think this is legit my most bold prediction. I think he gets votes for the Vezina. I'm not saying finalist. I'm not saying winner or finalist. Just saying that he will get votes. So I think that means he'd be in like the top 5.
Your prediction is probably as bold as mine.
Okay, but yeah, I think with that defense, I think with that defense, he'd be in maybe like top 6, and he'd get votes for the Vezina.
All
Okay.
right, Daniel, let's hear yours.
Hold on,
we've all been waiting on.
I'm telling my wife why I just screamed. Yeah! I said Scott bold prediction. Sorry.
It's true.
Okay. All right. I'll start with this one. This one is equally as, scream worthy.
Okay.
She is really going to be livid on this one once he hears it, if he's still here. So, Sergei Bobrovsky proves that last season is an aberration and finishes in the top 3 in the Vezina voting.
I like mine better.
Playoff Florida team. I picked them to make the playoffs. I think that Bobrovsky had a complete off season. Yes. Top 3.
It makes sense. I could see it. You had him as a bounce back, didn't you? Or one of us
told him. By the way, I told G not to hold his daughter while he listened to this podcast. So it's his fault if he was. Alex?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We're back to you already?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
My second one, Scott.
What's up?
We talked about the Edmonton Oilers and Tyson Barrie.
Yes.
Tyson Barrie will come out in Edmonton and tee up 50 points with the Oilers this season and then re-sign at the end of the season on a max-length contract for the most money he's ever made.
I like it. You know what? I like it because I will,
Hold on.
this may be the first time we have a similar.
Is Matt still watching? Is Matt still watching?
Hold on. Oh, wait. He said, what the fuck to mine, I'm guessing.
So our GM says, bro, what the hell? I'll get more Vezina votes than Talbot. Didn't he win the Vezina in the first season of our league already?
Yes. No. He won the Conn Smythe.
Yes. Okay. So, as Matt says, I got my D&D book here.
Okay.
Book it.
Okay. So I will say,
point season, book it.
I will, be on top of this with you here. This may be one of the first times that we've had similar bold predictions because I said that Tyson Barrie would get top 3 in scoring as a defenseman.
Wow.
I think that he finishes the season top 3 in defenseman when it comes to scoring.
So that's a bold prediction, but at the same time, we talked about how trash this division is with goaltenders. They only have to face 3 goalies that are any good. Not terrible when Tyson Barrie is.
And he will be the number 1 power play unit defenseman
Yes.
With Yamamoto,
it's fantastic. Yeah,
because
his
it's bold
quarterbacking
predictions.
skills. Yeah.
Because it's bold predictions, I won't even say top 3. He finishes number 1 in point production as a defenseman.
Whoa, that's a big bold prediction considering you have Kale McCarr out there.
You have Cale McCarr, you have John Carlson still.
Also considering that John Carlson was top 10 in points in the league with pretty much just assists last season.
There you go, exactly.
Yeah, so I tried to remember the fact that we have these interesting
new divisions. It's true.
Yeah. So I will go with my next bold prediction here. Alex Iafallo will
here we go again.
Alex Iafallo will hit the 30 goal mark, and Kopi will hit the 90-point mark in a shortened season.
You're telling me hold on, pause. You're telling me Anze Kopitar is going to tee up 90 points in 56 games.
Yes.
He's going to play on a bubble playoff team at a 2-point per game pace.
Not 2 point, but like
it's almost 2 point per game.
It's like 1.5.
It's 1.5 points per game.
1.5 points per game.
Let me tell you something. Okay, where's my calendar?
It's still insane.
It's a bold prediction in the West Division.
At that average, Kopitar did that over the course of a regular season. He would finish with 123 points. Those are Draisaitl.
It's
hold on. Remember this. You have to remember this. Kopitar is playing only against the West Division.
It's a much weaker division.
Season.
Yeah, it's a much weaker division.
If he had 82 games against this division, he would finish with about that point production. In my,
are you saying that Anze Kopitar will put up 63 points this season on the Anaheim Ducks alone?
Yeah,
because that's what it's.
Are you kidding me? On the Ducks? Come on now, let's go. It's not. I'm trying to be like it. It's bold, but it's not completely out of the realm. If you put 123 points up, hold on. What did Kucherov put up in a division where you're playing against everybody?
Yeah, true.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody needs to remember you're playing against only the Pacific Division.
Only your Pacific. Yeah, you're playing against
only the West Division.
The Honda Division.
You're playing. Hold on. 30 games. You're playing against the Coyote. Well, okay. Kemper is pretty decent, but I think Kopitar can score there. You're playing against. Let's see. Vancouver is going to win. I still think
no. Vancouver's not in the division.
Oh, sorry. That's the North Division. Yeah. Sorry. Colorado still. I think even Colorado. I think. I think he could score at St. Louis. I think he can score against. Isn't Minnesota in our division too? For some reason.
Are they? I don't think so.
No. St. Louis is the farthest.
Oh yeah, the farthest. Fuck. Arizona, Jesus.
No, they are in a division.
That's what I thought. Right. Okay, yeah, you got Minnesota. That's 8 games. You've got.
You do have Robin Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury though, that you have to play 8 times.
Yeah. Okay. And then who else?
Just Grubauer. You have Grubauer.
Martin Jones.
Hold on.
Martin Jones.
Yeah, Martin Jones.
Franchise goalie Martin Jones.
By the way, I did not mention this. We didn't get to notes yet, but Martin Jones rated the second worst goaltender in the league
by a panel of general managers.
Remember when they used to call him elite, and I was like, "No, this guy is Swiss cheese." It's not.
Martin Jones rated the second worst goalie in the league.
Let me tell you something. Do you remember when Martin Jones was rated elite?
Yeah, when he was on the Kings.
When he played in Los Angeles.
No, he had the 2 good years in San Jose.
Yeah, he did have.
They made it to the Cup final.
He had one good year in San Jose.
He had one good year, and then LA crushed their spirits. and then that was it. Okay, my third and final bold prediction for players. Third and final.
Okay.
I got to go back to my notes because I told Daniel I had like 9. Okay, let's see. Where we go. Okay, so I agree with Daniel. Not only do the Yotes miss the playoffs, not only does Oliver Ekman-Larsson say, "Get me the fuck out of here," and waive his no trade clause completely to go literally anywhere else, they will blow up the entire core of their roster and trade away anyone of worth that is not named Christian Dvorak or Clayton Keller.
So full rebuilds.
And they will trade everyone for biscuits.
Phil Kessel, excuse me. Daniel?
They will trade Phil Kessel for
biscuits. He's
So
like
full rebuild
30
is what you're saying. Arizona is into full rebuild mode.
Arizona, not only does Arizona
should have went. Hold on. That's not that bold. They should have went in a full rebuild once they decided that Taylor Hall wasn't going to stick around and that was going to work out.
Yeah, that was kind of.
They should have just rebuilt it.
I'll actually piggyback because I have to go here, and I'll give you a fourth one for free.
Okay.
So speaking of Taylor Hall,
No.
It's okay.
No,
we can piggyback. Taylor Hall put up the biggest offensive performance of his entire career, eclipsing even his trophy winning season a couple years ago in New Jersey. But he will leave the Buffalo Sabres after the season in search of a consistent run at a Stanley Cup.
Okay, so you think he still produces a ton of offense, but then he leaves. So again, the piggyback, because you decided to do a fourth one. I think Taylor Hall finishes top 5 in point production in points this season.
All right, and with that, gentlemen, adieu.
You go ahead.
Week.
We'll finish off later.
Have a good one, guys.
See you. Alrighty.
All right. Me and Scott just finished the show here.
Yeah, don't you have a final bold prediction?
I do.
What is your final one? Let's hear it.
Oh, I was hoping Alex would stick around for this one.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm ready.
Alexis Lafreniere will not finish in the top 5 of the Calder race.
Okay.
So, let me give you my reasoning why. So, Alexis
it's
Lafreniere,
not out of the question, though.
It's not. I tried to give bold predictions that were a little bold, but
realistic.
Not out of the realm. Yeah,
okay,
they were realistic.
I get it.
Lafreniere will not finish in the top 5 because that division is nasty. That is the most competitive division of this season. That East division is disgusting. You have Carter Hart. You've got hold on. Now I got to think of the other teams. You got Vasilevsky. You've got hold on, Philadelphia.
You got
Shesterkin. Well, Shesterkin's on his team.
Oh wait, yeah, I'm stupid. What the fuck am I thinking?
You've got Carolina, who's just a complete defensive coordinator. I mean, even if it's not Mrazek, not even just Mrazek, you got to look at their defensive core.
True.
Then you have
who knows? Mackenzie Blackwood could come back for New Jersey.
Mackenzie Blackwood's been decent for New Jersey.
Yeah.
If New Jersey, pans out with what they were supposed to pan out as, if they get, they still have Piku Subban. They have, Mackenzie Blackwood's been good since he's been in the league. You have Pittsburgh, who's still, I think they missed the playoffs. I don't think they have the most fantastic goaltending, but
you also have Ilya Samsonov on the Washington
and
Capitals.
Samsonov. Yep. I think that's what I was thinking. That division, I said it last week, is the most competitive division this season. And that's why I think Lafreniere is going to – I don't think he's going to struggle, but I just think that a lot more rookies are going to have much better – I mean, you have to think Quinn Hughes is technically still a rookie this year.
Really? I didn't.
Yes.
I thought he reached the max or the minimum games. I didn't know.
I thought he can win the Calder this year.
No way. Really?
I'm almost positive he can.
I'm gonna look up his stats right now.
Please do.
I mean,
even if he can't, I still think there's enough rookies in the whole league.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
That are going to play this season.
Mhm.
I think that with how competitive that division is going to be, I don't think he's going to have the point production that people are expecting in his first season. Again, most people will take it as a slight at Lafreniere. It's not. It's just a very it's a very tough division to play in when you're only playing those divisional teams. And you have the North Division that is weak. You have the West Division that is weak. And you have the Central Division that is, I mean, the Central Division is interesting, but I still think there's enough weak goalies that other players are going to outplay what Lafreniere is going to be able to do in this very first shortened season of his career.
You know what? That does make sense. I wouldn't say I agree, but I could definitely see it happening, and it does make sense. The goaltending threats that are in that East Division are insane, and we've talked about the defensive threats that exist there, and it does make sense that a player on the offense would struggle that hard, especially if they're a rookie.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, again, these are bold predictions. They're not supposed to be. I mean, they're supposed to be in the realm of possibility, but at the same time, they're not going to be like, "Oh my god, I completely agree with you, bro." It's like,
I go with my bold predictions are if it happens, it's like I told you all, fuck all of you.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's what it's supposed to be. That's why we like doing this. It's more of a dart throw. Hope this is going to happen. Well. Not all of them are. I hope this is going to happen, but it's been nice that I've been able to have some bold predictions for team wise and individual wise for the Kings this season because
I didn't have any.
I know. I'm just you were one of the 4 of us that decided not to pick the Kings as a playoff.
I'm gonna be a Kings naysayer this year, so that when the Kings if they do succeed, I will be that much happier.
It's fair. I mean, to be honest with you, as much as we're being very optimistic, I mean, to be honest with you, it's like I'm not much of a homer. I try to be very, especially on this podcast, I try to be very objective. But I don't see a team in the Western Division that is significantly better than us. Most of the other teams that are vying for that 4th position don't have consistent goal scorers, consistent players. I mean, if you told me last year that the Coyotes were not going to be in this, like take that 4th spot in where we're at now, I would have disagreed wholeheartedly. But the problem is the Coyotes got rid of most of the players that were making us believe that they were going to make the playoffs.
And OEL is just not happy there. He's really not happy.
He's not. He wanted to get traded. He just said that he didn't want to distract during the season. So once everything kicked off, he just wanted to cut off talks. But that doesn't mean he's happy.
Exactly.
And I mean, Clayton Keller I think Clayton Keller is awesome. But at the same time, it's like he can't do everything himself. I mean, he's not Sidney Crosby.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say, like, Clayton Keller is by no means a generational talent. I would say it's even iffy right now whether or not he's the franchise.
Yeah.
So it's...
And when you're iffy on if he's the franchise, like, is he going to drag that team to the playoffs? And that's why I think that's the only team that can compete with the Kings for that last spot. And I just don't think they have the players to do it. Okay. I think the Kings... And that's why I want to make sure people aren't thinking that I'm being biased. It's like I just think the Kings already embraced the, hey, we're rebuilding. We're going to be shitty. And even this season, if we were playing a normal 82 game season against our normal schedule, I think we would probably embrace the suck, and we would do exactly what we were thinking originally, that they were going to try to get draft picks. But now you're going into a shortened season. You're going to a season where you're only playing the division that they put you in, and there's not a clear-cut fourth team to make it. And I just think the Kings are that team. I really do. I think we have the young players that I think they have the young players that can actually produce the points and play the minutes that are going to get us to the playoffs. Is that meaning we're going to be a Stanley Cup contender? No. But, I mean, at the same point, that doesn't always mean anything. We have the assets, just like McClellan said, we've already reached our we finished the rebuild. That doesn't mean we're in a normal season. That doesn't mean we're competing for Stanley Cup. That means we are done trying to get the assets and trading away talent for assets to make us a better team. We have those assets in the pipeline, and they just need to play now. They need to get the experience, and the players we have just are going to give us the edge, and they're just more talented than what's in the division that we have in front of us.
Yeah, I agree.
Really think so. I mean, I just think that's where we're at. I still think the Ducks are going to compete with us. As much as I hate the Ducks, this is a very, again, objective podcast. We appreciate just hockey in general, and we will not, as much as we'll just badmouth just for fun of the Ducks because we are Kings fans, we will appreciate what they have because we try to be objective. The Ducks are going to be the team that's going to the Ducks and the Canucks are going to be the teams that are competing with us for years to come. They have the deep pipeline. They have the young players.
They have the best prospects. Yeah, you'll definitely see.
We are going to be the top three teams in this division, even after the whole West Division. Once we return to the Pacific Division, we are going to be the top three teams for the next probably 10 years.
I'd say like 6.
Not immediately. I don't mean immediately, but I think within the next 10-year time frame, you're going to see the Canucks, the Ducks, and the Kings as those teams that are at the top there because of the fact that they embrace the young youth. They embrace the fact as you need those young players to be thrusted into your lineup. You need the fast guys. You need the guys that can score, the playmakers. And they did it quicker than everybody else. I just think that that's where we're going to end up. And those are going to be the top three teams in the next couple of years for about 6 to 10 years, like you said.
Oh, and here, I'll bring it out on the podcast. Give me a second.
All right. Please do. All right. Scott's going to get something.
Open up the closet.
For those that are watching,
I'll show you guys the jersey. The amazing jersey that the reverse retro. I love the back. Like here,
I need the reverse retro.
That is like my favorite thing. The LA Kings 89. The Adidas logo on it. You gotta love it. To prove that I am still a Kings fan, even though I'm a naysayer and a closeted Philly fan.
Yes. I still need to get one of those. I really want a.
You really do. It's so good.
I want a Kopitar one, of course, but
little pricey when you put a name on it. I will not lie to you.
Well, they're a little pricey when you get any of them with a name on it, and that's what I have.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm not trying to be like biased at all. It's just if you look at it from, even if you're just trying to be objective, like if you just take a step back, put your allegiance aside, and you look at the original Pacific Division, you advance a year, like I said, if you're looking at the Pacific Division as normal, I don't think the Kings make the playoffs in our normal situation.
No, because then you have Vancouver, Vegas, but honestly, like Vancouver, Vegas, Calgary, Edmonton, right? I'd say would be like maybe one of them.
Calgary. I mean, that's the thing. You have Calgary. You've got you already have 4 teams that I think
one would probably get that wild card spot. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is now you move to a situation where you do have
guaranteed top 4. Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver are not in the division. So, I mean, granted, you add St. Louis into the mix, but St. Louis was the only competitor in the Central Division that is now in our division. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
take out 3, add 1.
We have 3 teams that are assurance. It's Colorado. It's St. Louis.
Oh yeah, sorry, Colorado too in the Central.
Yeah. Well, Colorado's in our division normally.
No, what do you mean? They're in the Central.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, with Dallas. Yeah. My bad. Anyways, you take a couple teams out with Calgary and Vancouver, and you've got Vegas. You've got Vegas, Colorado, and St. Louis that will make the playoffs. That the 4th spot is just completely up for
And we've always talked about that now.
And Arizona was the team that we thought was there, and they got rid of everybody. That's
very true.
I mean, that's just the issue we run into, and I think that the Kings make it, and that's where we're at.
And I mean, I still think that Arizona pulls it out, but at the same time, who knows? I really don't know how this Kings team, with all of these younger players actually coming in, is going to play. So
it'll be fun to watch.
Who knows? We could end up like 2nd in the division. Who knows?
I mean, COVID season, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's the thing. That's where we're at. Good thing is, hockey starts tomorrow.
Yes,
it does. Barring anything completely catastrophic, 116 straight days of scheduled hockey games, including we did not even get to our notes, which is fine. The biggest thing is the NHL announced that the Outdoors at Lake Tahoe event, which will have 2 games on February 20th and 21st, which is going to be completely awesome. I can't wait for that. I saw the renderings of where the hockey rink is going to be. I don't know if you saw it, Scott.
I haven't. I actually haven't seen it.
It's going to be next to the South Lake of Tahoe. It's literally going to be on the fucking the beach, I guess, if you want to call it that. The beach of the lake. You can see the lake and all the mountains in the background.
More hockey in the desert.
Obviously, there's not going to be fans.
Not desert.
What I would assume. That's why they can do something like this. They don't need to build.
Because it's outdoor, potentially you might see a limited capacity.
You might, but the thing is now they don't have to worry about like building this enormous, stanchion where there's a whole bunch of fans. You don't have to build this whole like 90,000 capacity stadium because it's just not going to happen. True. You can have outdoor fans. What I'm saying is they can actually put it up on the lake because you don't have to worry about, accommodating for that ridiculous amount of fans. You're not trying to beat the big house with 90,000 fans at this point where we're at, because they're going to have it. I mean, it's next month. We're literally 6 weeks away from this Lake Tahoe event, and it's going to be awesome because the first game on the 20th is Vegas versus Colorado.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and then you have Philly and Boston coming over.
Another really exciting one.
That's going to be freaking fantastic.
Awesome.
Like those are going to be battles, and you're going to have such a great background view. I mean, I will send you the rendering. I was going to pull it up if we talked about this earlier, but we had some extreme situation with Zach having to drop off, Alex had to drop off.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. The idea is, I think the rink is going to be literally like, I don't know, 50 feet from the lake of Lake Tahoe on the South Shore. So you're going to have the lake and the mountains.
Oh, I'm looking at the rendering right now. Wow, that looks nice.
It's going to be
or just like completely in the snow. Yeah, that's a really nice view.
Yeah. But
awesome.
That was a huge announcement that they had.
Yeah.
The biggest part is you're actually going to have travel from Philly and Boston are going to come over to the West Coast to play that series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's going to be private.
And I'm sure
so it's going to be fine.
They'll be in their own little bubble in hotels and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure.
It'll be perfectly fine. But we didn't get to the notes. There's not that much going on. There was some signings and extensions with players we'll get to later. But running a little long, and it's just me and Scott. So with the very ending, I just want to make sure we get a beer of the week because we've only had one episode without it. Because
very true, we did miss one.
So I have this Spencer. For those watching, I'm actually showing the can, but for those listening, Spencer's Awkward Hug is the name of the beer.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Imperial Milk Stout with raspberry and vanilla. So I've actually had this on tap at this brewery. It's a local brewery here in Santa Clarita. Probably
it actually sounds like something I wouldn't mind, to be honest with you.
It's not bad at all. This is a 9.6% by volume.
Damn.
So it is a nice beefy guy.
Yeah.
But it's very flavorful. It's not boozy. Like you said, probably something you'd try. It is more on the fruity side because it has raspberry vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
It almost tastes like some kind of an ice cream, but that's what a lot of stouts do. And to be honest with you, I saw a post from a couple of my friends yesterday that's what they've been doing with Imperial stouts. You just throw a drop of vanilla ice cream right into it, and apparently it's fantastic. So
I
need to make sure I like it next time.
Yeah,
it's like a root beer float, but it's a beer float.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fantastic. But I just need to make sure we do a rating scale.
What could be it? Let's see. How many sick Dallas players out of 10?
Love it. Okay. Considering that no matter if I go up to 10, it'll be less than the amount of Dallas players that are on the roster.
It's very true.
I will actually give this a nice 9.5. Sick Dallas players.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very good. It's like I said, I've actually had it on tap over at the brewery that was right around the corner from my work.
Okay.
Here in Santa Clarita, but it's very smooth. It's very smooth, packs a punch, and absolutely delicious. I think you would like it, Scott. This is one of those I can say that you would like it, right? Whenever you want.
I will be sure to do so.
But that's all we got this week. We start hockey tomorrow, guys.
Yes.
It's gonna be fantastic. Next week we'll be completely packed with NHL news, results, just for those that haven't been following us for the last 2 years. We'll be recapping the games over the last week. We'll be talking about all the notes that happen, and I'm sure that'll be more than we ever expect because we never know what's going to happen with this virus continuing to completely flare up.
Yeah.
And we will have every week, we will have a goal of the week that will be the introduction of this podcast. Over the off season, it's a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over the off season, it's a little bit harder. I know a couple weeks ago we had, a goal that was prefacing this intro, but now that we will actually have live goals happening, we will have an introduction to this podcast, and it'll be a lot of fun. Tune in next week. We'll be here Tuesdays going forward, probably around the same time, 8:30 Pacific. That's all we got.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys stopping by. Nobody is watching now, but we did have multiple people right in our viewing capacity, and
we love to see
you guys stopping by.
Yeah.
The rest of you guys, appreciate you guys listening on the podcast. I will be uploading this, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye.